tools of assessment interview. It means in this session we are going to discuss some of the MCQ which are related to tools of assessment interview or interview as a tool of assessment. The first question of this session is which of the following is considered the primary advantage of using interviews as an assessment tool in the teaching learning process? Option: quick administration, easy scoring, in-depth exploration of student understanding, ability to assess large groups simultaneously. Answer of this question is option C, that is in-depth exploration of student understanding. Next question: in a structured interview assessment, what is the recommended number of core questions to maintain consistency across all interviewees? Option: 5 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13, 14 to 16. Answer of this question is option B, that is 8 to 10. Which type of interview is most commonly used for assessing students' problem solving skill in a teaching learning context? Option: behavioral interview, situational interview, stress interview, final interview. Answer of this question is option B, that is situational interview. Which of the following is not typically considered a limitation of using interviews as an assessment tool? Option: time consuming, subjective scoring, limited content coverage, low student engagement. Answer of this question is option D, that is low student engagement. Which interview technique is most effective for assessing a student's metacognitive skill? Option: structured interview, semi-structured interview, think aloud protocol, group interview. Answer of this question is option C, that is think aloud protocol. Which of the following is best describes the purpose of a diagnostic interview in the teaching learning process? Option: to grade student performance, to identify students' misconception and knowledge gap, to provide feedback on completed assignments, to evaluate teaching effectiveness. Answer of this question is option B, that is to identify student misconception and knowledge gap. Next question of this session: which of the following interview techniques is most suitable for assessing a student's ability to apply theoretical knowledge to practical situation? Option: structured interview, case study interview, biographical interview, stress interview. Answer of this question is option B, that is case study interview. Next question: what is the recommended ratio of open-ended to closed-ended questions in a well-balanced assessment interview? Option: 1 is to 1, 2 is to 1, 3 is to 1, 4 is to 1. Answer of this question is option B, that is 2 is to 1. Which type of interview question is most effective for assessing a student's ability to synthesize information from multiple sources? Option: closed-ended questions, leading questions, hypothetical questions, funnel questions. Answer of this question is option C, that is hypothetical questions. Next, which of the following is not a typical stage in the process of conducting an assessment interview? Option: rapport building, core assessment, peer evaluation, closing and summary. Answer of this question is option C, that is peer evaluation. Which of the following interview technique is most effective for assessing a student's ability to handle ambiguity? Option: structured interview, stressed interview, unstructured interview, behavioral interview. Answer of this question is option C, that is unstructured interview. कि अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू हम लोग को पहले ये जानना चाहिए कि इंटरव्यू क्या है और इसी का कितना तरह का इंटरव्यू है। बेसिकली इंटरव्यू एक तरह का फेस टू फेस इंटरेक्शन है एक इंटरव्यूअर और इंटरव्यूई और इंटरव्यूज के साथ। जब एक इंटरव्यूअर कोई एक इंटरव्यू को कुछ क्वेश्चन फेस टू फेस इंटरेक्ट कर रहा है तो उसी को ही हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, इंटरव्यू बोलते हैं। और ये जनरली दो तरह का होता है, एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू होता है और एक अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू होता है। और अलग हिसाब से अगर हम लोग देखें तो एक क्लोज एंडेड होता है और दूसरा वाला ओपन एंडेड भी होता है। लेकिन हम लोग ये स्ट्रक्चर्ड और अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू को ज़्यादातर हम लोग लेते हैं। स्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू जो होता है वहाँ सारे के सारे क्वेश्चन पहले से ही फिक्स किया जाता है। जो एक्सपर्ट हैं वो उनको दे दिया जाता रहता है कि उनको कौन सा क्वेश्चन पूछना है। और अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू जो है वो एक तरह का ओपन एंडेड की तरह होता है कि वो एक्सपर्ट खुद के हिसाब से, उसका कोई स्ट्रक्चर नहीं रहता है, कोई प्रीफिक्स क्वेश्चन नहीं रहता। एक्सपर्ट इंटरव्यू का रेस्पॉन्स के हिसाब से और ऑब्जेक्टिव के हिसाब से खुद का साइड से क्या करते हैं यहाँ कि क्वेश्चन बनाते हैं और इंटरव्यू को पूछते हैं। तो ये है स्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू और दूसरा वाला है अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू। नेक्स्ट, which of the following is considered the most significant advantages of using panel interviews for educational assessment? Option: reduce interview time, increased objectivity, lower cost, simplified scoring. Answer of this question is option B, that is increased objectivity. Which type of interview question is most effective for assessing a student's ability to evaluate and critique information? Option: closed-ended question, probing questions, leading questions, dichotomous questions. Answer of this question is option B, that is probing question. प्रोबिंग क्वेश्चंस ये एक तरह का बहुत ही इफ़ेक्टिव क्वेश्चन रहते हैं कि स्टूडेंट्स का जो एबिलिटी है उसी को इवालुएट करने के लिए और उसके साथ साथ उसी के पास जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है उसी को क्रिटिक करने के लिए भी ये प्रोबिंग क्वेश्चन जो होते हैं वो एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं और इफ़ेक्टिव होते हैं। Which of the following is not a recommended strategy for reducing bias in assessment interview? Option: using standardized questions, conducting interviews in pair, rotating interviewers, informing student of the interview question in advance. Answer of this question is option D, that is informing students of the interview questions in advance. Which of the following interview technique is most suitable for assessing a student's ability to think on their feet? Option: structured interview, behavioral interview, case interview, rapid fire interview. Answer of this question is option D, that is rapid fire interview. Which of the following is considered the most effective method for recording data for later analysis? Option: taking notes during the interview, audio recording, video recording, having an additional observer take notes. Answer of this question is option C, that is video recording. Which of the following interview technique is most effective for assessing a student's ability to provide constructive feedback? Option: role play interview, peer interview, self-assessment interview, 360-degree feedback interview. Answer of this question is option D, that is 360-degree feedback interview. Which of the following is considered the most crucial factor in ensuring the reliability of interview-based assessment? Option: interview duration, interviewer training, interview location, number of questions asked. Answer of this question is option B, that is interviewer training. What is the recommended approach for dealing with a student who becomes emotionally distressed during an assessment interview? Option: immediately terminate the interview, continue the interview as planned, take a short break and offer support, switch to a written assessment. Answer of this question is option C, that is take a short break and offer support. Which of the following interview techniques is most effective for assessing a student's ability to defend their opinion? Option: Devil's Advocate interview, behavioral interview, structured interview, biographical interview. Answer of this question is option A, that is Devil's Advocate interview. Which of the following is not a recommended practice when conducting assessment interviews with younger students? Option: using simpler language, incorporating play-based elements, conducting longer interviews, having a parent or guardian present. Answer of this question is option C, that is conducting longer interview. Which type of interview question is most effective for assessing a student's ability to prioritize information? Option: multiple choice question, ranking questions, open-ended questions, yes no questions. Answer of this question is option B, that is ranking question. What is the recommended approach for heading a student who provide very brief responses during an assessment interview? Option: end the interview early, use more closed-ended questions, employ follow-up and probing questions, switch to a written assessment. Answer of this question is option C, that is employ follow-up and probing questions. Which of the following interview techniques is most effective for assessing a student's ability to learn from mistake? Option: behavioral interview, situational interview, stress interview, reflective interview. Answer of this question is option D, that is reflective interview. Which of the following is considered the most significant challenge when using interviews as assess large scales? Option: time constraint, consistency in scoring, student preparation, interview scheduling. Answer of this question is option B, that is consistency in scoring. What is the recommended approach for assessing student with speech or communication difficulties through interviews? Option: rely solely on written assessment, use technology assisted communication tool, extend the interview duration, simplify all questions to yes no format. Answer of this question is option B, that is use technology assisted communication tools. Which of the following interview techniques is most effective for assessing a student's ability to integrate knowledge from multiple subjects? Option: subject specific interview, interdisciplinary case study interview, biographical interview, structured interview. Answer of this question is option B, that is interdisciplinary case studies interview. What is the recommended strategy for ensuring fairness when different interviewers assess student on the same subject? Option: use only one interviewer for all students, randomize interviewer assignment, allow student to choose their interviewer, use standardized rubric and cross-check assessment. Answer of this question is option D, that is use standardized rubric and cross-check assessment. What is the recommended approach for handling a situation where a student challenges the interviewer's expertise during an assessment interview? Option: end the interview immediately, defend your expertise vigorously, redirect conversation back to the assessment point, penalize the student in the final assessment. Answer of this question is option C, that is redirect the conversation back to the assessment topics. Next, which of the following interview technique is most effective for assessing a student's ability to receive and incorporate feedback? Option: multi-stage interview, peer feedback interview, self-assessment interview, 360-degree feedback interview. Answer of this question is option A, that is multi-stage interview. What is the optimal method for selecting students for a sample group in large scale interview based assessment? Option: voluntary participation, teacher recommendation, stratified sampling, top and bottom performers only. Answer of this question is option C, that is random stratified sampling. Which of the following is considered the most effective way to assess the reliability of interview based assessments? Option: comparing results with written test, calculating inter-rater reliability, analyzing student feedback, reviewing interviews recording. Answer of this question is option B, that is calculating inter-rater reliability. What is the recommended approach for assessing non-verbal communication skill during an interview? Option: ignore non-verbal cues entirely, use a separate rubric for non-verbal skill, focus only on verbal responses, conduct the interview via phone. Answer of this question is option B, that is use a separate rubric for non-verbal skills. Which of the following interview techniques is most effective for assessing a student's ability to collaborate and work in teams? Option: individual structured interview, group problem solving interview, rapid fire interview, biographical interview. Answer of this question is option B, that is group problem solving interview. Which of the following is considered the most effective way to ensure consistency across multiple interviewers in large scale assessment? Option: using only experienced interviewers, conducting pre assessment calibration session, rotating interviewers randomly, using only structured interview format. Answer of this question is option B, that is conducting pre-assessment calibration session. What is the recommended approach for integrating technology into assessment interviews to enhance their effectiveness? Option: replacing face-to-face interviews with video calls, using AI-powered chatbot for initial screening, incorporating interactive digital tools during the interview, automating the entire interview process. Answer of this question is option C, that is incorporating interactive digital tools during the interview. Which of the following interview techniques is most effective for assessing a student's ability to handle ethical dilemmas? Option: hypothetical scenarios interview, behavioral interview, stress interview, biographical interview. Answer of this question is option A, that is hypothetical scenario interview. Which of the following is considered the most effective method for reducing cultural bias in assessment interviews? Option: using only interviewers from the same cultural background as the student, avoiding all culturally specific references, training interviewers in cultural competencies, and using diverse interview panels, conducting interviews only in the student's native language. Answer of this question is option C, that is training interviewers in cultural competencies and using diverse interview panels. What is the recommended approach for assessing a student's ability to use academic jargon and field specific terminology during an interview? Option: provide a glossary of terms for reference, use only common everyday language, incorporate field specific scenarios that naturally elicit terminology use, ask student to define term explicitly. Answer of this question is option C, that is incorporate field specific scenario that naturally elicit terminology use. Which of the following is considered the most crucial factor in ensuring the validity of interview based assessment in educational setting? Option: interview duration, interviewer expertise in the subject matter, alignment of interview questions with learning objective, number of interviewers present. Answer of this question is option C, that is alignment of interview questions with learning objectives.